Hello again, guys, girls, aliens, influencers, and everyone in between. It's your favorite dudes on the internet, Officer Dan and the boys, welcoming you back to the best install videos on the planet. Today we're going to be installing the GT86, BRZ, and FRS rear knuckles. Now, I don't blame you for living under a rock just before World War III kicks off, so you possibly haven't been tuning in to our short docu-series on the 86 front and rear videos. I hope you've busted out your best Botox needle, as we've injected more features into these rear knuckles than your girlfriend's lips, so do exactly what she says when she's talking and try and pay attention. The engineers milked these puppies for all it's worth, and we pumped all that lovely information straight onto the product page, which we update as soon as we get an update. So feel free to geek out until the wee hours of the morning. It is now time for the install, ladies and gents. Dress up in your favorite ninja suit and let's throw this giant ninja star at or near your 86. Now, typically, if you have been here before, we'd show you the overweight OEM Knuckle, but being as we have the biggest brake kit in the world fitted to our 86, you can't see shit. Anywho, moving right along, zap the small bolt securing the brake line to the overweight Knuckle, head up top and zap off the ABS sensor bolt, removing said bolt and removing said sensor. Head over to the back side of the Knuckle, loosen and remove the two bolts securing the world's largest caliper, and get your favorite engine hoist or actual crane to lift that caliper off the car. Now, a quick little pro tip: instead of getting this giant monstrosity of a caliper to penetrate the earth if you drop it, you can simply zip tie this up and out of the way for now, which we're doing with the strongest goddamn zip ties you've ever seen in your life. Removing the giant flying saucer, which some may call a brake disc, and setting that to the side. Now, with everything removed, we need to head inwards to tackle that axle nut. You're going to want to put a flat screwdriver in the little notch and pry that outwards. It will make your life a minimum 1% easier. Now go ahead and get your rattle gun, get back over to the nut, and obviously loosen and remove said nut. Now, for the veterans that have worked on cars before, we know the situation will go one of two ways. The axle nut will be seized, require lubrication, heat, thoughts and prayers, and a shamanic ceremony and press. Or, being a relatively new car, there may be no issues at all. And boom! We have a winner, which means it won't be a thing, and you just saved a minimum of 6 gray hairs from your beard, my dudes. Now head down, loosen, and remove the traction arm nut for now, but leaving the bolt in. Accompany Beyonce and move to the left, loosening and removing the nut, but leaving the bolt in, as we're going to need something to anchor the knuckle for now. Head over to the traction rod, and you can now pop that bolt out. Head to the right side, tackling the toe arm, secure the bottom nut, get your least favorite ratchet, and zap that nut off the top. Remove said nut and washer from the top side, then head underneath and remove the stud insert, making sure they don't fall into the oblivion below. Get that dang old ratchet again and loosen and remove all 4 bolts securing that hub to the knuckle. Then head to the front side of the knuckle and pull that drum hub assembly off, and being that the handbrake cable is still connected, you can let that hang 5 for now. Now that that's out of the way, head up top and loosen and remove the bolt that runs through the rear upper camber arm shank, pop that out and through, and give the rear upper camber arm a bit of a weave upwards and out of the knuckle. Now, all that you'd have left would be that one arm that was anchoring the knuckle to the bolt. And go ahead and grab the knuckle with one hand, ripping that bolt out with the other. Now let's install the brand spanking new Gktech knuckle to said whip. Start by inserting the rear upper camber arm shank into its home on the knuckle and throw the bolt through the knuckle lining up the divot in the shank. Then, as you can see through our ultra secret but oh so majestic view, wind the nut onto said bolt. Now keep in mind, to impregnate this knuckle with as many flex points as we have, there are some caveats, and in this case the OEM rear upper camber arm cannot be used as it smacks the drive shaft at anything other than full droop. Now, we can't speak for other brands on the clearance, but we know that obviously ours are designed to work in sync with the knuckles and give the drive shaft the clearance and freedom it needs and so much deserves. Now, speaking of previous freaking awesome videos, if you remember from our other video of the rear lower control arm, there are 2 holes that the knuckles bolt to, as you have the luxury of changing your ride height by 25 millimeters, aka almost an inch. Now we need to stop and dive deep into elementary school science for a moment to explain. You need to remember, by fitting our drop knuckle, you would have now dropped the car 40 millimeters, and you can drop it an additional 25 from the lower control arm with its upper setting. One other thing to consider is your coilover length, as some dudes may not have enough. That's what she said. And you can really use that bottom hole. We suggest working with what you have, also what she said, and going from there, as we all know length, unfortunately, matters. Every setup will be different and it will require you to adjust your coilovers regardless. In our case, we've already dropped 40 millimeters from the knuck and like where this is, so this will end up being our ride height. I know, I'm sorry guys, we used to be cool. Once you've made up your mind, go ahead and throw that bolt through the washers, either side, and of course wind that nut on. Now, super handy pro tip, instead of trying to fit the inserts at the same time and having them fall and you screaming to the heavens for this Lego puzzle to work, you can leave the zip tie fitted while the lip fits where you need it to. Then once it's slipped in slightly, cut that zip tie and continue to fit as usual. Now pump that traction arm and get those holes lined up, throw that bolt through said hole and wind said nut onto said bolt. That's a lot of sets. When it comes to installing the toe arm shank, the shank needs to be seated in the knuckles first. So go ahead and whip the shank through the bearing, sliding the insert on the top, throw the washer and the nut on top as well. Get one of the hub bolts and insert it from behind with an extension from the back. That way it will make it easier to line up and wind that bolt onto the hub whilst installing. Now this would be the time that you would install your drum assembly and hub that we just removed. Now if you remember, ours is hanging for dear life and straight up chilling. One thing to notice though on our setup, due to this gem having God's goddamn largest brake kit fitted by the previous owner, he has blessed this spaceship by trimming the dust shield to suit. Now as we mentioned this, as the knuckles do need the dust shield fitted between our knuckle and the hub, so the dust shield is required. But us being us, we'll give you a super quick demo so that you know your options. Option A, if you don't plan on attaching a second caliper to the backside and you have no future plans of installing Satan's biggest brake set, then you can leave the plate as is and just throw this piece of ham in the middle of your hub and knuckles sandwich. Option B, if you do plan on fitting a second caliper, Satan's biggest goddamn brakes, you can always cut along the outside like your local butcher would, which is the quick, easy, savage approach and not recommended. What we do recommend is that you do need to drill the spot welds out on the plate, which look like little pimples scattered around the inner circle. In our case, this has had the spot welds drilled out and already done for us, so we can continue with throwing on the hub handbrake assembly up through the axle opening, whilst also winding that bolt onto the hub like we just so happened to mention. Once you have a couple of threads winding that in, go to the back of the knuckle and wind in the other bolts into the hub, driving that thing home. Now, because we can't fit our head or a camera or lighting in the same spot, from the front side you need to visualize tightening the hub in a crisscross pattern, starting with the bottom right, then up to the top left, then to the bottom left, and lastly to the top right. Then once that's been done, go ahead and go across that same exact pattern twice, which you always need to do when tightening in a crisscross pattern, to the specs shown right here on the screen. Pro tip, to save yourself some pain, please check that the retaining clip of your drive shaft does not make contact with the bottom edge of the knuckle on compression. Now, if it does make contact, please give it a very light baby shave and that should do the trick. In our case, no contact was made. Go ahead and throw the ABS sensor through the provided hole in the knuckle along with the baby bolt that holds that thing down, tightened and torque decks shown on the screen. Wind on said axle nut and zap the absolute life out of it to the specs shown here as well. Get your favorite pin punch that your grandpa gave you from World War I to lock that thing into place. And while we're on our little torque tour, go down south and torque the lower control arm bolt to the specs shown here on the screen. Head to the traction arm, tighten and torque those to the specs shown on the screen as well. Now pop back onto the torque bus and quickly, and whilst applying pressure from the bottom of the shank with your hand upwards, tighten and torque the top nut to the specs shown on the screen. You want to tighten this nut first without the bottom nut fitted so that it can seat in the taper on the knuckle properly. This is so goddamn important. Once that's been done, head briefly down south, install the washer and nut, and tighten that to the specs shown on the screen. We can continue the torque tour per usual. The next stop is the upper camber arm bolt. Tighten and torque that to the specs splayed here as well. Pull the torque tour bus over and casually stroll over to the aliens, asking them politely to pull their finger out of you in exchange for the giant flying saucer that has us humans calling an upgraded brake disc. Now throw that onto said hub. Cut the zip tie or 10 that was holding the largest goddamn caliper in the world on and sling that over to the back side of the knuckle onto the giant flying saucer. Now head to the back side and wind those two bolts in that are securing God's largest brake kit on, and go ahead and tighten and torque the two caliper bolts down to the specs shown on the screen. Goodness gracious me, we did it, guys. Being as we've graced your souls with so much adjustment, our recommendation is to save yourself some gray hairs and start with setting the camber to a ballpark figure with the RUCA. Then, depending on your ride height, set your traction arm length based off the assembly guide on the product page. And finally dial in the camber and tow with the tow arm and RLCA. Now, being that you're locked and loaded with what the gods would use on their rear end, you need to go get an alignment. We love you guys, and speaking of love, these dudes ooze the shit out of every open orifice on their bodies, and without them, these videos wouldn't be possible. If you yourself need love in this cold, cold, cold world, shoot us an email and we'll give you some of that love back, and more importantly, the knowledge to help. This has been Officer Dan, Johnny Caps, and DK with the world's best, world's renowned, FDA approved how-to videos. We'll see you next time. Peace.